Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? We have a new show for you. Look at this. We got a new great deal for you. MGM has a great deal for first-time users of their app or website. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. All the information in the show box below. Sure to follow the Max Wagers Network all day. Midday Money, Sean Higgs. Morning Wood, Allie Burns. Just Parlays with Chris King. Back to the window, Scott and Scott. 4 to 5, it's me. Game Time Decisions, Nick, Tim, and Lenny. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Make sure you're doing all of that stuff, right? Got all this stuff on there. Everything ready to go. And we have AM Plus Money ready to go here. And gonna see what we got here. Got all kinds of action today. Oh, we got a comment already. Let's see what we got. I took France today minus 1.5. Need a goal or two. Live. See what the score is. 1-0 France. So gave that out today. That's pretty interesting score line. I don't know if did you take that the women's game today at all, or just kind of backed away from some of those games?
I was looking at the women's European Championship. I didn't touch it myself, but I do have a play on the North American one tonight. Big finals match in the Canada and USA.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I think that's an interesting game there. I know it's a little bit of a rivalry there. See if I can find that here. UEFA CONCACAF. I have to find that. What site are you using?
I'm using Bet365, but it's the North American Championship for the CONCACAF. It's like, what do I even have it under?
If I can find it here. Soccer.
Yeah, I don't know what even. Let me see what my book class.
The home run derbies. They finally got the home run derby odds up there. It's interesting.
Yeah, for me, it's just CONCACAF Championship. That's what it's under.
I think it's on Bet365. You said, right?
Yeah.
Next 12 hours. CONCACAF Championship Women. That's interesting. You 4 to 5 is what, minus 120, right?
Yeah.
USA minus 120 in this game. Let's see if I can change it to. I wonder if I can forget where you change it to decimals and American.
I think you might have to be in your account for them because there's normally a preference setting in the in the settings. But yeah, I got minus 125 on my screen right here for the USA, and I'm going to be on the USA women's tonight.
You're going to take them?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cheap price for them. I expect it to be a lower scoring game because Canada's got a good defense, and so does the USA. Neither team has allowed a goal in this tournament. But I think USA just has the stronger attack. If you look at the score lines, they've won their matches like 3-0, 3-0, 5-0. They had 1-0 win, but that was also against Mexico, who's the hosting country. So Mexico did get a red card in that, and the USA scored in almost the 90th minute. It was the 89th with the advantage there. But I think that they're pretty good for kicking out the hosting country, obviously, and I just think they have the stronger attack, and they're probably going to be able to overpower Canada. Like I said, I don't expect a high scoring game, but I think the USA will get it done. Long rivalry between these two, and Canada. Really, this is a revenge for USA because Canada beat them in the women's Olympics a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was Canada's only win against the USA since before 2008. And I'm not even quite sure if they've beaten them before 2008. That's just where my head-to-head record stopped. But yeah, we're talking 15 straight matches with only the one win for Canada. And I just think it was a free play for me, but I think because I don't look at women's too much, but I just think it's a good line for the USA. I think they'll probably come away with this championship, and I expect them. And you can see to lift the trophy is very juiced, but I think they can get it done in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good bet right there. Offers a lot of value in this game, and I think I will be joining you on that.
Like if this was hockey, I'd be all over Canada because I'm sorry, but our Canadian women are just better at hockey. But this is soccer; it's not hockey, and I definitely think USA has the stronger team by far.
That's right.
Two good defenses with a stronger attack on the U.S. side. Expect them to be able to get a goal while Canada will probably struggle to score.
Time's that game? 10 o'clock, right?
Is that? I thought it was 8. Yeah, you're right. I guess it's 10 o'clock. My bad. All day I was thinking it was at 8 o'clock. It's actually 10.
Yeah, there's the it's the third place game. Is it 7, right?
Yes.
7. I think they're playing
Costa Rica and Jamaica.
Same stadium, I think, right? The back-to-back games.
I know the U.S. Canada one is in Monterey's stadium.
Okay, how about that? All right, so tomorrow's an interesting day of action. There's some pretty good games coming up. There's champion. Is there anything tonight, by the way? Is there any other than that USA? You like that Palmeiras Cuba game at all? Minus 420. That line has been going up and up and up every time I look at it.
So yeah, that was minus 300 on the weekend. So I do have a play on that, but it's a premium play. But one thing I guess I was looking at in this one, I had my eye on the over. I think there could be some goals. It's a little juiced. It's around like minus 140, 135-ish for the over right now. But
it's almost 150 now, actually.
I think there could definitely be some goals in this one for sure. Palmeiras is probably more focused as well now that they have a little break from Copa Libertadores. So I could see them scoring at home. Cuiabá is not a great team. So yeah, I could definitely see some goals in that one for sure.
Yeah, the Asian handicap minus 1.5 is minus 127. If you bump it to minus 1.75, it's plus 102. So, between those two, obviously, I would probably take the minus 1.5 because you clear. If they win by 2 goals, you win. If they win by 1 goal, you lose either way. So, you're better off really just taking the full money value there if they win. Do the Brazilian women play today?
Yeah, I believe there's the Copa America also going on. I actually didn't look at that, but I do believe it's happening.
The Women's African Cup of Nations playoff was there today. Yeah, it's the the CONMEBOL, right? Women's CONMEBOL.
Yeah, Women's Copa America. Yeah, I see it here. Yeah, so they got Venezuela and Brazil. I guess that's the bronze match because that's the early one at 5 o'clock, and then they have Peru and Uruguay going at 8.
Some interesting games here. They got the MLS Next Pro. My Rochester team up to second place in the league, so that's awesome. All right, so let's see, we got Champions League tomorrow, which is, and we talked a little bit about this. There's your Punic team who knocked out Bratislava, right?
No, Cluj.
Cluj, that's right. Punic playing Dudelange, and Punic is plus 110. Karabakh Zurich. Now, this Zurich team is pretty good. I didn't see the result from the weekend. I'm going to have to go back.
They got smacked 4-0 by the Young Boys in the Super Cup.
Okay, how about that?
I know. I was shocked when I saw that scoreline too. I was like, oh, man. Did Zurich not care for the game, or
it all came
just back-to-back being back?
So Zurich missed a penalty in the 55th minute. Then Young Boys scored, and then they scored 3 goals in 8 minutes right at the end. It's hard to tell with this. They made so many subs. You think they had I'm like 99% sure they probably had this game in mind. They're looking ahead, obviously Champions League. Silverware is big, but this is obviously a bigger competition. This Karabakh team is good. The Zurich team, I know last year was very good all year. Interesting price there at plus 270 on the road. But then you see Zurich or draw is minus 148, which right away I kind of say, that's interesting. That should be closer to like even money. Zalgiris Vilnius against Malmo. Malmo kind of impressive, but gave up 3 goals in that last round to a bad team, Vikinger. Michelin, AEK Larnaca. Ludogorets against Shamrock. Linfield against Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt, obviously, very good team. Zagreb minus 1,000 against Škupi. And that's it for Tuesday. And then there's 5-game Wednesday. So all different times, starting at 12 on Tuesday and going to 3 o'clock. So we got the different windows. Any of those games jump out at you?
Yeah, so we'll start with Zalgiris and Malmo for sure. Mm-hmm. There was a few plays I liked here. I definitely lean to the over. You're getting it at about plus 110 right now. Yeah, and Malmo's just a team, like if you watch their matches, there's always goals. And even like if you watch them through Champions League and Europa League last year, didn't matter if they were home or away, there was always scoring goals. It seemed like they were always like in 3-2, 2-1 kind of matches. So I definitely see some value on the over there, considering that Malmo's the better team and they're away from home in this first leg. So the way I look at it is Zalgiris has to take, they know they're obviously probably the lesser team. They should know anyway. They don't have as much experience as Malmo does in this competition. And I definitely think Zalgiris has got to play with the mindset like we need to try and score a goal or two. So we're not going into the second leg over in Sweden tied or even down, because then we're really going to be in trouble trying to beat Malmo away from home. So I feel like they're going to be pressing their attack here. And from what I saw from Malmo in the last round, they won 6-5 on aggregate. Like their defense was not good at all.
I guess it's not a good team. That team they played is not very good.
Yeah, small team from Iceland. So definitely I could see Malmo giving up some goals here. And if they could end up winning the match and win, I could see Malmo winning 2-1. But another play I even like is the +1 for Zalgiris, because from what we saw in that first round, the better teams aren't playing their best away from home, especially in these first legs. We saw a lot of the better teams in the first leg just kind of come out with a 0-0 draw, not do much, and then get them in the second leg. So I'm almost thinking that if Malmo is going to win, I'm expecting goals here from both sides, but if Malmo is going to win this match, I don't see them laying Zalgiris out on the floor 3-1 or by more than 1 goal. So I find a little bit of value in the Zalgiris +1 as well.
It's interesting too that the Malmo over 1.5 is -115, and the Zalgiris over 1.5 is +340. So once again, Malmo gave up 3 or 4 goals to Vikinger, who just scraped by the qualification against a really bad team. So I think both of those offer some interesting value there if you like the over at 2.5. So that could be an interesting play there. Herberg search. How about you like the Midland AEK Larnaca game?
Yeah, so one's an interesting one to me, and I think I'm just gonna stay off that one.
It's hard. I mean, we know, like, to me, the Michelin team is probably clearly the better team. But once again, when you looked at the results from the first round in that first tie, the best team didn't always win that game. They didn't win a lot of the games. They play, it was a draw. I mean, over the course of 2 legs, the best team, almost, I think Cluj got knocked out, and Bratislava got knocked out. But like some of the, but most of the other best teams went through. Michelin here, that's tough because you right away you're laying a 1.25 goals at minus 109. So, I think they could come out and win, 2-0, 3-0. But, Larnaca, I think let me see what they did. They beat a decent team.
I actually think this is the first showing for both of these. I don't think.
Oh, Larnaca, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They came in. This like drives me nuts. Why you got all these teams? Like, why wouldn't you put Larnaca against the team that just won in the first leg? And Mitch, like, why? It's just weird. There's some games like that where these teams are playing and they already had the lineup set up, and you're like, why wouldn't they just like match up the teams that are coming in against teams that are just playing in the thing? So I don't know why UEFA does that.
Yeah, and that makes it even more difficult because neither of these teams played in the first round. And, Larnaca's in their offseason. Midtjylland just started their season 4 days ago with a 1-1 draw against Randers. But, like, at the same time, knowing they had a Champions League match 4 days from then, were they even trying in their season opener there? So, like, it's really difficult. These teams haven't really played that much, but I would lean, I guess, more towards Michelin, obviously, with they are the better team at home, but it's tough to say in this one when neither team has really played.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the next game on the list is Ludogorets and Shamrock. Shamrock Rovers looked really good in that first round. Obviously, Ludogorets came up big at the end of that second game there, and kind of got through. I think obviously Ludogorets here is the big favorite to go through. Much better league. Shamrock Rovers won 3-0 against Hibernians in the first leg and basically had won the tie there. Ludogorets, remember in that game, we weren't sure. They won 2-0 the first time, didn't look great, and then against Sujetska, they got that second half goal. They didn't play great in the second leg, but they didn't really have to. They did enough to win the game and win the tie. So now they come in, and I think they have to probably play a little bit better in this second round to kind of to make sure they go through. You have to lay probably a goal and a half. No, it's actually 1.25 is minus 115, which isn't terrible. Any kind of feel for this one?
Yeah, so I think there's a ton of value on the under 1 at minus 110 in the first half, because from what I've seen from this Ludogorets team, look, this is still a great team. They have a great defense. They haven't allowed a goal, I think, in their last 5 matches. At home, they haven't allowed something like 1 goal in their last 5 or 6 matches there. Even last season, they played the Bulgarian league, which, isn't a very strong league, but they dominated and they averaged less than 1 goal allowed per match. So it's not like they're eking out their league like some of these other teams are. They're straight up dominating their league year after year. You see them all the way in the Champions League or the Europa League mainly, but this is a team that continuously goes the distance. And they're going up against this Shamrock Rovers team that's good, but, they don't have the experience. And also, I think being on the road here, they're probably not going to score on that good defense. And the thing that kills me is if you look at Ludogorets, like their last couple matches, they haven't been giving up a goal, but they haven't been scoring goals in the first half. Like we noticed it in the first Champions League, they scored 2 late goals in that one. Then in their league match, again, they scored 2 goals past the 70th minute to win that one 2-0. And then they played the second leg, and again, they won 1-0 there, which is good because they didn't have to win that one away from home and still did. But again, didn't score that goal till the second half. And even if they do come out early and score a goal here, I don't think you're going to see – they're more of a slow starting team, so I don't think you're going to see many goals in the first half. It's probably going to be very defensive and let me get a feel for this Shamrock team, and then we'll come out and destroy them in the second half. But I think – and you're getting the one, so even if there is a goal for -110, you could push with 1 goal in the first half. And this is one that I think you're going to see a 0-0 score by halftime. So I think ton of value there. And if you want extra value, I would even recommend taking the under a half a goal because I really think it's going to be 0-0. But that's only if you want the extra value. The safe play is the under 1 at -110 because that's basically you're not paying much for that at all.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. One of my guys, Blake, he does that. He loves playing those unders in the first half. He loves playing just first half totals. He'll watch the game and say, all right, under, and then maybe he'll watch how it's going the first 20 minutes and say, you know what, I think there's going to be a goal here. So maybe he'll go over a half a goal as it starts getting into the 25th, 30 minute. And, the line starts moving towards plus money. So he'll kind of play the percentages there and does pretty well with that. So I always think that's kind of an interesting way to bet. Bodo Glimt at Linfield here. Bodo Glimt -110 at Linfield. Glimt is -670 to qualify for the next round. Heavy favorites here. And this team is basically really just played really well for the better part of a year here. And has a chance, I think, once again to go out in a game and really just kind of win the tie in the first leg here. They almost blew it last time. It was they second leg was 3-1, but they had they'd already had a 3-0 lead from the first leg there. So any kind of play here in this game?
Yeah, so I actually like Linfield plus the 1.
Right.
Again, this is going off what we saw in the first round. Bodo Glimt destroyed at home 3-0, but they almost blew it on the road in the second leg with that 3-1 loss. And I think they were pretty lucky to come away with the advance because as we saw, CFR Cluj played it really loose and they ended up getting kicked out. So this is one where I think the fact they're away from home on the first leg hurts them because I think they're going to probably go back to that second leg and say, okay, we almost blew a 3-0 lead. That's not good. Let's come out here, try to win, but we'll play a defensive game, and if we can at least escape this road leg with a draw, we can come back at home and destroy them in the second leg. So I'm almost thinking they played with that draw mindset, and even if they do win on the road here, they haven't been great in their road games, so I expect them not to win by more than 1 goal. So again, I like the Linfield +1 because you're getting the push if Bodo Glimt wins by 1. But I don't think this is a game in the first leg on the road they win by more than a goal, knowing they can come back in the second leg at home and really lay a beating on the team.
I'm going to give you a bet here. Victor Boniface right here, +143 to score. If you go back and look at these games, he scored all 4 goals in the last tie. He scored the hat trick in the first game, and he takes the penalties because he had a penalty in both games. So, and he scored the only goal in the second leg. So he outscored KI 4-3 basically. He scored all their he scored all their goals. Sue. Yeah, he's staying. So and plus money. Say hi to Bill. He's watching.
Hi, Bill.
All right. But he's plus 143 to score here at any time. First goal scorer plus 420. I don't like those plus the first goal scorers, last goal scorers, stuff like that in these games, just because sometimes stuff happens. But over the course of 90 minutes, if this guy scored all four of their goals, sometimes that's a decent play there at plus money, plus 143. You figure if Bodo Glimt wins the game, he's probably going to get on the score sheet.
Oh, well, even if they tie 1-1 or something, 100%, he clearly seems to be the guy for them. And that's something that, on these smaller teams, if you have that one guy who's the striker, and look at that. If you look, so Bodo Glimt, let's see, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to look at their league matches to see if he's been scoring there. Well, I don't think he scored in his last few league matches, but definitely he's the guy in these Champions League matches, obviously for a reason. They've also been playing league matches in between the Champions League. So
yeah,
he probably was resting up for did he even he got an assist in a few of the games. So yeah, this is a guy that's heavily involved. Oh no, wait a minute. He did score. He did score in their last league match. They won 4-1. What am I saying here? Yeah, he scored 2 goals. 2 goals.
He's their guy. I mean, that's when you see that, like when you see a guy like that who's on a little bit of a run, and it looks like he likes scoring against some of these smaller teams. If you can get him at plus 143, I think that's pretty interesting right there. That's pretty decent odds actually. So that's probably my play on that game.
Yeah, and the only reason he didn't score in the last game is because they subbed him out. And Pellegrino ended up scoring the 2 goals after they subbed him out in the 67th minute. But this is what I mean. They were resting him up for this one, giving him that last 20 minutes off.
Yeah, I'd say this team is, just watching them play a couple of times last year against, obviously in the as the games went closer to the knockout stage. It's interesting to see. I mean, he's clearly a pretty good player, and this team is pretty good. I'd like to see what they could do if they could make it into the actual Champions League stage here, and maybe even in the Europa League against some higher level competition. I think that would be pretty interesting. So let's see. All right, so we got. Swinfield. Dynamo Zagreb against Shkupi. Dynamo Zagreb at minus 1,000 and minus 2,000 to qualify. Is there any way? Well, total goals by Zagreb is -1, over 2.5 is minus 125, which actually is pretty decent value considering the Asian line is they don't even give it for this. So it's probably going to be closer to -3. Any kind of play on that game?
Yeah, so I don't have a strong play on it. This is more of a lean, but I'm almost tempted to take the Dynamos, or it's not, sorry, the Shkupi plus 2.5, just because it's so long. It's such a large number, and Dynamo Zagreb could easily win 3-0 here, 4-0. But I've watched them play their last few matches, and they just played in the Croatian league over the weekend, and they came away with a 3-2 win. But I think they had like a 2-0 lead in the first 20 minutes, and they blew that lead by halftime. And then in the second half, nothing happened, and they scored literally in the 93rd minute. So I think there was only 4 minutes of stoppage time, and they scored in the 3rd minute with like 30 seconds left. So I don't know. I've been watching them, and I don't like what I see from them. Like I said, it's not really a play. It's more of a lean, but I would almost take the +2.5 because I don't know if Dynamo Zagreb is going to win this game by 3 or more, just because this is their first round of Champions League. They weren't in there last week, so like who knows if they're ramped up yet or where they're at. As we saw with a lot of those teams, those better teams last week, they didn't want to try in the first leg. So I know they're at home here, but Zagreb's also a team that could probably win this easily on the road as well. So I question their motivation in the first leg. I don't like what I've seen from them lately, so I lean to the +2.5. But it's not.
I mean, this game could easily be like 3-1, where that 2.5 covers, and the total goals covers 3-1, 4-2, something like this. So it's just when you start. I mean, you see these alternative spreads here. -3.5. Like, man, you're starting to get up to like +2, -3.5, minus or plus. I don't even know what that is. +150 probably, +250, something like that. Those are pretty big numbers. I don't know. You're almost. I think you're better off maybe, like you said, taking that, or maybe finding a different way. Total goals by Zagreb minus, over 2.5, assuming, they're probably going to score some goals. Maybe they allow some. They haven't played so well, but or they haven't played in a while. So, yeah, there's just a couple ways to do it. But, yeah, 2.75 on the Asian handicap, probably I'm not going to lay that, because for you to win full value on your bet, they got to win by 4 goals. So, to me, that's not even really worth it. So it's a little crazy there. So those are the Tuesday Champions League games. Just eased out of that. All right, where are we at? Champions League qualification. The Wednesday games. HJK Pilsen. I know Pilsen's a pretty good team. Usually every year. They weren't great last year. I followed them a little bit because sometimes you bet them. I know in the league they weren't as good as they have been, but here they are in the Champions League. Haifa and Olympiacos. Haifa came out last year and played, and they won the Israeli league, and that's it. They came. They're not one of these teams that is like a perennial powerhouse there. Obviously, Olympiacos always is. They beat Arsenal a couple years ago in the knockout leg. And I think that was the Europa League, because Arsenal's not a Champions League team anymore. Dynamo Kiev against Fenerbahce. Ferencvaros again against Slovan Bratislava. That's right. Slovan Bratislava got through, but they got to play Ferencvaros now. And then Maribor against Tiraspol. There's some pretty interesting ties. I actually like those games. Once again, Sheriff is a good team. You said, Bratislava just about snuck through, and they got to play Ferencvaros, who's pretty good. Any of these games you kind of ground?
Yeah. So I like a few of them, but we can start. You want to go in order, I guess, or do you want to talk about?
We'll go in order. They got these. Yeah, I got to get through. I got to be able to get through this summer, man, so I could sit down and watch some of these games at 12 and 1. And I want to sit back by the pool. And I was going to do the show at the pool today, but assuming all the kids are down there after camp, so came back from the beach and sat there, so I'm upstairs, but sit by the pool and watch, HJK and Pilsen play. Is that one of the games you're looking at?
Yeah, for sure. I think I kind of like the draw in this one at the +240 there, just because, Pilsen's a great team. They're more defensive in their Czech league, but I still think very good team, and I do think they're better than Helsinki. Neither of these teams you really see in Champions League and Europa League that often, so you don't have that advantage of this team is more experienced. But I do think Pilsen is the better team here. And if you look at the line's very interesting how they're favored on the road. I think they're actually getting a little bit too much respect because they're a defensive team. And again, this I think is going to be one of those where the better team's on the road here in the first leg. And they're going to say, let's just, play good defense, escape with a 0-0 draw, maybe 1-1 if we have to score a goal. And we can win this one easily in the second leg at home. So I like the value on the plus 240 draw. And that's just from what I saw in the first round. That was a situation that I noticed happened a lot, cashed a lot with those draws in the first leg, better team on the road. And this is one that I think is another one of those situations. So I like the value on the plus 240.
It's interesting too, and you get the HJK and draw double chance at minus 112 here. So that's another maybe interesting way that you could look at it. The Haifa Olympiacos, I don't know how you feel about that. To me, that's a pretty tough game because I like just from last year. I obviously didn't watch a lot of Maccabi Haifa games, but I know talking to a couple people that bet a lot of European soccer, they were pretty good last year, and I know Olympiacos is always pretty good. Does that look like a tough game?
Game? Definitely one of the tougher ones. When I looked at the board, I thought that would be one of the tougher ones. But at the same time, this is another one I'm going to lean to the draw because actually I do like the draw in this one because the way I see it, so you said it yourself, Maccabi Haifa won the league last year, but they're not traditionally that kind of team in Israel. Maccabi Tel Aviv is the best team in Israel, and I still believe they are the best team in Israel by far. Just because they didn't win the league, they came third last year, but I still think they're the better team. I'm not totally convinced on Haifa. Now, they're probably going to not focus on their league as much this year and focus on these Champions League games, so I can see them definitely giving a good effort in being at home here, knowing that this is their chance, but man, they're getting matched up against the wrong team. Olympiacos is a team that goes the distance every year. They're in the group stage of Champions League. They're always one of those teams year after year that goes to the group stage. And Olympiacos is just a very good team. They always dominate Greece year after year. Some years they're challenged, others they're not, and they just win by 10 plus points. And they're a team where if you look at their history, they are incredible at home. They don't give up goals. They can score 2 to 3 per match at home. Sometimes no, but their team, they don't give up a lot of goals at home. And I think, again, this is one where the better team's on the road here. I actually think the opposite of the Pilsen. I think the line is not enough respect for Olympiacos here. They should probably be closer to even money minus 120, like
plus 110, plus 105, something like that.
Yeah, they're definitely the better team by far. And I've seen them many times in these competitions, in these two legs. They come out flat in the first leg, play great defense, come away with a draw when I needed them to win. And then they come back in the second leg, it's like 3-0. And you're like, oh, great. Now they win when I wanted them to win last week. But you couldn't bet them this week because they're minus 300 at home or something. Yeah. So this is, I think it's going to be another. I have a lot of experience betting this Olympiacos team. I know I watched the games for years. I've been following the Greece League. I think PAOK's a pretty good team. They always seem to have Olympiacos' number, but I chalk that up to more of a rivalry there. So that would be the only team that I think could challenge them somewhat in Greece. But absolutely, I think they're better than Haifa. And I think they probably, again, I like the plus 200. I'll take the plus 200 because I see a lot of games like that on this Wednesday card with the better team on the road. And I'm going to stick to that strategy that we saw in the first round because odds are if I take a few of these draws with that strategy in mind, I'm going to break even more or less or even make a profit with those huge lines on the draw. So that's how I'm playing the Wednesday games.
It's interesting too. The Asian handicap for this Olympiacos is, you can get a pick line at about minus 120, where maybe those are really kind of closer to the odds the game should be. So, to me, that's interesting. Maybe play it there because then if it's a draw, at least you get your money back. But you want to maybe take a chance on. And if the better team wins, then you still win. Kiev Fenerbahce looks like a tough game. to call. I don't know if you have a kind of a play on that. To me, it looks like those two teams are both pretty good.
Yeah, so that was definitely one. It's probably like the one I'm staying off.
Yeah,
I'm on all 5 of these, but that's the one that scares me the most because, as you said, it's clearly, including the Tuesday and the Wednesday games, it's clearly like the best matchup in terms of talent versus talent. Those are two very good teams playing against each other. And really, I think either one could be in the next round easily if they weren't playing each other. You could easily see one of those. The other thing that bothers me is Dynamo Kiev doesn't really have much of a home advantage here because they got to play their matches in Poland. And even the Ukraine Premier League I saw has been canceled for the foreseeable future. So, like, Dynamo Kiev, it's really a tough match because you don't have a home advantage in your home matches, and you're not even playing. You're not necessarily in form because you're not playing any league matches. This is really the only thing you are playing, so you're focused on them. But also, training time and just in general matches to stay in form. This one bothers me. It definitely bothers me.
And the Fenerbahce team is pretty good. I actually. I may throw a couple bucks on Fenerbahce plus 150. Not much, maybe $10, something like that, or maybe just put them in a long shot parlay or something. Put them in a parlay with
4 draws.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like maybe I'll go. Let me see what this is gonna pay. Maybe I'll go Olympiacos Fenerbahce plus 557. That's interesting. At Ferencváros minus 245, and it goes up to 827. Glimt, ooh, look at that, plus 1272. That's probably pushing my luck a little bit there, but let me take these out. So yeah, you go Bodo Glimt and Ferencváros, it's minus 210. But we haven't got to this Ferencváros. I don't even know if you like this Ferencváros against Slovan Bratislava tie. I know you probably do because you thought Slovan shouldn't even have gone through last round, and they're playing a pretty good Ferencváros team here. So I'm guessing Ferencváros in this spot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way I want to play this game, I actually don't even see a line at my book, so maybe you have it and can let me know. But I wanted to take Ferencváros to advance to the next round. I'm not seeing
qualify as minus 250.
Okay, so that's not even a play then I can be looking at. But it's one where I kind of, I guess, lean to the under, so to say, too, because Slovan Bratislava, they're going to come out defensively because they really don't have a chance on the road at all. There's no way that they score a goal in this match. The way they played in their last round, they looked awful. They easily could have got beat at home by a 10-man Dynamo Batumi team. So I think, like I said, they needed extra time to get through. The ref was not calling a good game at all either. He was just letting them take each other's legs out. I think these are two good teams. You're going to get a lot better reffing for sure. So that's not going to be an issue. I think the game is going to have to get played properly the way it should be. And I don't think Bratislava is a very disciplined team, in my opinion. I think Ferencváros is very disciplined. They play great defense. They don't give up a lot of goals, especially at home. I'm just going to check the line quickly, but one play I'd even look at, you can get Ferencváros to keep a clean sheet at minus 125, and that's a play that I really think could happen because they should win this match to 0, I would think. So that actually could be even another way to play it, a win to 0 for Ferencváros, but I think they keep a clean sheet here. I don't see Bratislava scoring on the road. They'll definitely I don't think they're going to be able to score on the defense, but I also think they're going to have to play with the mindset knowing, let's try to get a draw and win it at home. But at the same time, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I just think they're not going to score here at all. And I think it's going to go the opposite way. I think Ferencváros scores a few here, keeps Bratislava off the board, and then they go into the second leg, and Ferencváros probably shuts them out with a scoreless draw or something like that, plays a really defensive game, makes it hard on them to score, and they advance with the first leg aggregate.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. Ferencváros win to nil is plus 110, and then
That's not a lot at all.
yeah, I know, because the under, where was it? The under. I just had it here.
I'm getting a pick 'em for 2.5.
The under half a goal. I mean, just for Ferencváros to keep a clean sheet is minus 115. So, it's not even that much of a. You're not getting too much more value. You're almost better off just taking the under. If you think it's going to be a clean sheet, just take the 0-0 and the, it just in case it's a 0-0 game, you win the bet there. So, if it was minus 115 and plus 150, I'd tell you to take both. But really, probably not worth it. Just pick one or the other.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it probably could be 0-0. I don't think it's likely, but it could be a 0-0 match. But it's also one that I think in the second leg, seeing the way Slovan Bratislava played in both of their legs, I totally could see Ferencváros winning that one, or even just taking it to extra time and winning it there. So it's definitely one I see them advancing. Bratislava doesn't even belong in this round as far as I'm concerned. And you know me, I was a huge Bratislava supporter before that first leg. And then I watched Fatumi play them, and
terrible.
They totally disappointed me in every facet of the game. I don't think they belong there. I don't think they're a good team this year. And, if they're not going to be good, I'm not even look at the Slovakian league, because there's not many other teams that interest me in that league so much.
How about this Maribor Sheriff? The Sheriff, they just about. I mean, I was like, apparently that team was a little bit better than everybody kind of gave them kind of credit for. It seemed like, because this Sheriff team's pretty good, but they were in a battle with Zerjinski, and it took an own goal really to get through. But Sheriff also, I mean, they're defensively, they just shut everybody down. They just don't allow goals here. So they go to face Maribor here, and it's basically plus 175, plus 170, plus 195. You're basically getting, it's an even game. It's a three-way coin flip here, which way to go. Sheriff is minus 162 to qualify. So, I mean, you see the over-under here, minus one, and it's over. It's 1.5. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Any kind of play on this game?
It's interesting you say the over is 1.5, because if you look for the clean sheet, both to keep a clean sheet is at plus 162 each. So I definitely find some value in the Sheriff to keep a clean sheet if you want to take that plus 162. But this is one where it's going to be my third draw of the day. I cashed actually on the final score 0-0 in Sheriff's first leg last week, after watching basically every other Champions League game played before them, because they were one of the last ones to go off in the first leg. I finally figured out the strategy of the better teams aren't playing in the first leg. And this is, again, I think we have another case here. The better team on the road. I really do think Sheriff is the better team. Look, this is a team that I know Maribor played great, but like, Sheriff has the experience. Not only did they make it to the Champions League group stage last year, but they, as somebody pointed out in the chat on one of the other shows I was on here, they beat Real Madrid in Bernabeu.
Yes.
This is just, they can compete with the best teams in Europe. And I think you're getting great value on the draw, because I think this is going to be another one where Sheriff's going to try and slag it out at 0-0 and win it in there at home like they did in the last round. And I know you said it took an own goal to get the job done, but I watched that one, and honestly, I think if the defender didn't put it in, there was another Sheriff player like right on his back who probably would have headed the ball in.
Yeah,
obviously, you can't say that, but like, he was glued to the guy's back. So if his head didn't hit it, the Sheriff player would have. And I think they were the better team anyway in that one. They had plenty of chances to score.
This is just real quickly here. Bill has France minus 1.5, and a couple people I know have France minus 1.25. They scored in the 68th minute. VAR got rid of it. They scored in the 88th minute. VAR denied it. So They've had the ball in the net 3 times, including 2 in the second half. It's still 1-0. Like, absolutely brutal. Brutal. That is absolutely brutal. Foxy has a 10-game parlay still in play. 9 over the weekend. He needs Pachuca to beat Mazatlan tonight, debating whether to cash out. Foxy, what's the cash out? You gotta tell us. You can't you can't keep us hanging here. What's the cash out amount? And we'll give you
if it's $20, let it ride.
This getting back to this game. I mean, this share. I know Maribor is pretty good as well, but this Sheriff team, once again, like you said, they proved they can win in big play. They beat the champions. Nobody could beat the champions, in the whole, in ties or whatever. But they did. They beat them, and I think you get some interesting value in that game.
And look, they play with that confidence too. Like, they know they won that last year. They're thinking in their head, we went all the way to the group stage. We beat the eventual champion. We can make it there again easily, right? So let's just do it. That's why I think, again, we saw they didn't do much on the road, but they didn't do much to blow the game either, which is why I think the draw is some great value.
Any kind of I know we got a couple minutes left. Did you look at any of those? I know there's one Brazilian game Tuesday, and then there's a couple Wednesday. I wanted to look at a couple of the friendlies, but I don't even know if I see those listed here. So we'll just look at the club friendly matches. Manchester United, Crystal Palace, Osasuna, Toulouse, Inter Miami against Barcelona. There's some random games here. Salzburg, Cambridge against Norwich City, Manchester City against Club America. Any of the Brazilian games or any of those I can't imagine. I don't know. I would. I mean, if it was Norwich City and Cambridge United in the FA Cup in the middle of the season, I'd probably take Norwich City, but I can't imagine you want to look at, maybe want to bet any of these games or anything. I know Manchester United's been playing well, so, maybe a shot on them, but any of the friendlies or Brazilian matches that kind of stand out to you?
Yeah, so definitely not the friendlies. I don't know. You don't even know who's playing.
If I'm tomorrow, I'll get up to watch the Manchester United game. At 5:30, if I see the lineup and I'm like, man, I might take a chance on this game because I just know both teams are Premier League teams, and I know their lineups. I might take a chance, but probably not.
Exactly, and those are more you got to either play them live or after you see the lineups like that. So really tough to say that. As for the Brazil League, I mean, there's one Tuesday game that sticks out to me. This Sierra team, man, they crushed the Corinthians over the weekend, and they are just killing teams at home. I know they've been bad in the league, but now that they have a little bit of break, I think they're on right now, and I think you're getting a little bit of value on them to keep a clean sheet here, just because their defense is really good. They did allow a goal to the Corinthians, who don't score at all. But normally this isn't a team that gives up many goals at home, and Avai is very bad. So I don't even see Avai scoring here. I think Sierra should probably just put a beating to them. So I could see them definitely keeping a clean sheet in that one. As for Wednesday, I think there was something in this Corinthians one that I liked. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, so I like the Corinthians to keep a clean sheet. You're getting it at even money. And I know that they just gave up 3 goals to Sierra, but at the same time, I think Sierra's playing very well at home. The Corinthians, they're not – I don't view them as a great team because they don't score a lot of goals, and I don't think they can compete with the best of Brazil when push comes to shove just because of their attack. But I still think they have a very good defense. They perform well in the league year after year. And I think, they're playing a bad Coritiba team that just got shut out by Flamengo, I believe, over the weekend. So I think Corinthians is going to go back to playing that good defense here at home. I don't see them. I don't see them giving up many goals to a Coritiba team. Sierra is different playing on the road there, and especially after a game where they gave up 3 goals, they're probably going to want to tighten that up a bit against a bad team at home. So I think you get some value on that clean sheet as well.
Foxy's cash out is 270 pounds. Leave it to win is 320 pounds. I think I don't know. I think I'd probably cash it out.
Yeah, for 50 pounds, I might cash out of that one too. Just because I agree with the man. Like you never know with those last games on the parlay, especially like the for sure ones. You think
I might cash. To be honest, I might cash it out. It certainly would be a rush letting it ride. I might cash it out and then just pull 50 on. Let's see what Pachuca is. I know they're -2 something.
Yeah.
Let's see. -295. I mean, they beat them 3-1 in February. I don't know. I mean, I might maybe cash it out and put 50 on Pachuca at -1.25 or something like that. So I would cash it out, to be honest. I would just take the 270, but I don't know, 50 pounds this way or that way. Too much of a difference there. You got 270 in your hand. I've learned to start doing that with these parlays. I think I've talked about it a few times where I said if I have 270 and it's 350 or something like that, I'll take the 270 and start another parlay. So that's kind of the way I've done it. But all right, so I just put this up since we got a new one. Remember, we have a new first-time user on their app. We're going to take a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. All in the information in the show box below. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, so every day we'll be able to watch all these shows. We're a couple weeks away now, 18, from doing some weekend shows, so that'll be pretty interesting. We'll have some Premier League stuff. But once again, are 3 or 4 days away from some of the bigger leagues coming back, and then another 10 or 11 days from some real big leagues, the English Championship, all the English divisions, and most of the other ones back. So are you excited?
Oh yeah, definitely excited for the bigger leagues. I've already been watching Bulgaria. Actually, there was one I was on. I need to check if they won now. I was on a Bulgarian match earlier today. Arda Kardzali. Yep, they won 1-0. So
I took Cluj. I don't know if you saw that Cluj game on the weekend. They were up 1-0 and they gave up a penalty in the 8th minute of stoppage time, and the guy missed it. So they were -105. So they ended up winning by the skin of their teeth. Foxy said he's cashing out. Yeah, look, Foxy, I would cash out and then just start a new parlay or something like that. You put Pachuca in the parlay with another team, because then you already have that money. I mean, it's if something happens or whatever.
Take some of the Champions League tomorrow.
Yeah. Or,
you want big value, smaller parlay? I gave out 3 draws for Wednesday.
To be honest, I mean, at -295, I don't even know if I'd even put it in another parlay. Like maybe just start a different parlay with different teams or something like that. But you could let it ride for 50 pounds, but you probably could do the same. And even if it loses, if you lose that bet, 50 pounds, you're up 220 instead of up 0. So or down really because of the stake you put in. So I think that's always a better way to go. All right, so he'll be back on Thursday. We'll be talking all kinds of stuff. A lot of leagues this weekend starting. And then I will be back tomorrow. We'll have some different people coming. I don't even know who's coming on, to be honest. Rick Fortenbaugh might be on. He might be on Wednesday. So we'll get those people lined up. And maybe I'll pull somebody off the beach to come in. So that'll be interesting. All right, so for everybody here, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.